Hi, welcome to Thursday Thoughts with Deb. I am Deb, and welcome to the porch. Welcome to the porch. This is a time where I can come and you guys can just get to know me a little bit. And it's a time for me to just come on and tell you how much I appreciate you being on the porch and maybe explaining the porch a little bit more as the porch grows, as we are blossoming into this beautiful journey that God is doing this. He's defining the porch for us. He is putting this big funnel of everything that the porch could be and all of these ideas and all of these plans. And he is bringing it into this nice funnel of saying, this is where I need you. This is what I need the porch to look like. This is what the porch is about. And, so I do want you to know that the porch is a safe space. It's for people in real lives coming as they are. And, it's real people, real lives coming as they are, growing in their own pace, growing in their own time, asking questions, resting, healing, and just being. That's really what the porch is. And, over the last week or so, I've had the opportunity to just kind of reflect on some of the things and be enlightened a little bit. And once again, I want to thank Miss Wessa for coming on every single morning and praying for me, praying for my health, a clear mind, direction, guidance on the porch. Wessa, you have no idea how much I appreciate you praying for me every single day. And then sharing it with me. That's even more amazing. So for all of those folks that are out there praying for the porch, praying for me, I want to thank you. I really do appreciate it. And God is answering those prayers. So as the porch moves forward, I remember growing up, we grew up on a farm. We had a dairy farm growing up, milked cows, hayed and picked rocks. We did all of the stuff. So it was a dairy farm. But I remember the biggest memory of that was not the work on the farm. It wasn't the haying. It wasn't the milking the cows. It wasn't doing that. It was playing outside. It was being in the yard. That is where we grew relationships, and we had this great big pool. We thought it was huge. It was a 4-foot pool, but for us, it was amazing. And all the neighbor kids would come and play. But that's where we grew relationships. That's where we learned how to socialize in the yard of the farm. We had learned to explore. We learned how to garden. We learned how to take care of things. There were so many things in the yard that we did. And so now God is saying, hey, wait a minute. What if the yard is your life? It's your story. And so if we looked up at our faith as a home, and so in our farm and where I live now, you can stand at the highway and you see the yard, then you see the porch, and then you see the house, because the porch is attached to the house, of course. But the thing is the yard represents our stories. It represents our lives, what's formed us, our experiences, our chaos, our ugliness, our drama, all of that stuff. But it's also our love and our compassion and our empathy for other people. So the yard is our life. And then there's that place in between, not quite inside the house, and it's still not out in the yard. It's the porch. It's that open place where it's a safe space. Before we go in, it's welcoming. We can share our stories. We can share what has happened in the yard in our life. We can come and ask questions. We can sit and just relax. We can find peace. We can connect. We can grow our faith. It's not pushy. It's a space where we can be. And then there's the door to the house. And that's where God stands. He's not going to push you through that door. He's not going to shove you through and make you believe something that just because somebody tells you to. God's waiting patiently on the porch at the door, saying, hey, you know what? When you fully trust me, come on. Come on in. But until that time, ask your questions. And even after that time, ask your questions. You do not have to be polished in faith to come to God. You do not have to be polished in your faith to come to the porch. Just come as you are. God's waiting there. And I think God sits at the table, that in between space, because sometimes it's not that we are afraid of our faith or that we have doubts. We just don't know how it fits into our lives. We believe that God is there. We believe that God is present, but we really don't know how to fit God into our lives. That's what the porch is for. It's that in between time. It's that time where we can just breathe, where we can just be. And like I said, I remember growing up too at my grandma and grandpa's, playing out in the yard, building snowmen and engaging and socializing with our cousins and family time. And then going to my other grandma's, and she lived in town, and we had a country grandma and a town grandma, city and a country grandma, right? But in town, we'd walk around the blocks and look at the other people's houses because we lived in the country, and that was just so different. It was so foreign. But her yard was so small, there really wasn't a place to play. There was a swing that we could swing on, but there wasn't a place to play. So we walked around the block, and there was a park up the street. But all of those experiences, all of those things built who we are. Then there is the school playground and the yard at the school where we learned to hear other people's stories and learn other people's lives and how that works. And so, growing up in my background, and I just think that the porch is such a beautiful place for me. It's that in between space. I didn't realize until just recently just how important the porch was. Because, like I said, when I started the porch, it was like, oh, yeah, it's about conversation. It's about getting to know people. It's about relationships. It's about those kind of things. And it is. I just never could define that the porch was that place between life and God. That place that is, we're questioning, do we really fit in? Are we welcome inside? And some of us have been hurt by the church. Other people have been hurt by our parents. Other people have been hurt in relationships growing up. Um, and then some of us just have never experienced faith and God's love because we've never felt loved. There are so many people on the porch that I'm experiencing, that I'm hearing your stories. You guys are sharing and you're engaging, and it is so beautiful. It is so, so beautiful. And I just so appreciate that. And so we are going to be doing some live chats, some porch chats here locally. And the next few weeks, we're going to start that. I'm so excited about that. And then those are the chats that we're going to take. We're going to talk about life. We're going to talk about life in the yard. We're going to talk about life on the porch. And we're going to talk about life when we walk through that door and have a full-blown relationship with God, that every single day we choose that. And really, that porch is, like I said, that in between place. It's a beautiful place to be. And sometimes, people choose to stay in the yard where life happens. Other people choose to stay on the porch. And some people choose to walk through that door and fully trust God in every aspect of their life. Not for sure where you are, but I do know we always say, too, bring your own chairs. We all sit in different chairs. We can sit on the same porch, but we're all in our own different chairs. Our chairs represent our life, what we learned in the yard. Some chairs are sturdy. Some chairs are shaky. Some chairs rock. And we found out tonight some chairs, and we were reminded tonight, some chairs have wheels. Some are gliders. It doesn't matter what your story is, what your chair looks like. Just bring it. Sit it next to mine. Sit it next to somebody else. Share your stories. Share your life. Share your questions. Bring your concerns. Share your faith. That's really what I think the porch is about. It's not about a church. It's not about a religion. It's about a relationship. And I think when we can have that relationship, when we can let go enough to leave our yards and our lives and our humanness and say, we're searching for more faith, more hope, more peace. That's when we take the steps onto the porch. God's waiting at the door, but we're not fully in, but we're not fully out. We're exploring what our faith looks like. And that to me is humbling and beautiful all at the same time. So today, no matter who you are, no matter where you're at, I want to thank you and let you know how much I appreciate you being part of the porch. Right now, we're averaging about 150,000 people a month on the porch. That's a lot of people who are just searching for God and learning to let go of all of the things that are holding them back from absolutely everything that God has to offer. We're all in a place of searching. It's a journey. And God's asking us to do this journey together. The world can look ugly. The world can be nasty. The world can be dark. But God's showing us a light. He's saying, come on. You don't have to have it all together. You don't have to be polished in your faith. You do not have to know how to quote scriptures. You just come with your life stories and your questions and your hurt. And let's go to that place in between where we can rest and we can get to know each other. That's the beauty of the porch. That's the beauty of the porch. I want to thank you for just being here. I want to thank you for engaging and being part of something that is so much more beautiful than I absolutely would have ever guessed. But God had his hand in it. God is blessing us. God is leading us. God is guiding us. And he will take us to where we need to be. And he will bring the people who need the porch to the porch. And it's also about creating a porch in your own heart. It's not about being on a physical porch. It's about creating that space in yourself and letting other people in and letting them know that they are safe with you, that you're creating that space for them to come and ask questions and bring their stories and bring their lives. And through your faith and through your guidance and through your love, you create a porch for them, that place that they can feel safe and secure and bring their mess and their stories and meet God. So as we are creating porches in our lives, I am going to be praying for you. And I want to thank you all once again for the prayers that you're praying for me. So I pray that you have one of the most amazing days. God bless. And I'm praying for you. Know that you are loved. Know that you're important and necessary just where you are. So come on, bring your stories, bring your chaos, bring your mess, bring your questions, bring your faith, bring your hope, because it's all there waiting for you. Have a great day, everybody. God bless. Hope to see you tomorrow. Mwah. Love you all.